Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today the recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you is beef soup, caldo de res. But before I get started, if you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a video. Let's get started with the ingredients. What we're going to be using for the caldo de res today seems like a lot of ingredients, but you know, they're relatively inexpensive and you probably have it already in the refrigerator. And you can change up the vegetables to what your family likes. This is just customary in my household, what we use. We use some cabbage, some corn, some onion, some bell pepper, some tomato, some squash, some zucchini, some tatuna squash, some carrots, some celery, some cilantro, and some potatoes that I have peeled in water so they don't get dark. And then I have the meat, which I will be discussing some things with you about the meat. It looks a little intimidating, but there's really nothing to it. Let me move that closer so you can see. The meat that I like to use is center cut bone shank, okay? But it comes like this in a package. I like to clean it up a little bit because it does have some fat in here that I like to remove because I don't find it necessary to be in the soup. So let's clean it up, and then we're going to start to fry this up on the stove, and I'll move you up there when we're ready. Let me show you what I do to the meat, okay? It's real simple. It's really nothing to it. I just, like this one here is fine. I'm going to leave this alone. This one here, we're going to trim off all this excess fat. And see, like these are tendons that are in the meat that I'm going to remove. So I'm going to continue to clean this up, and then when we're ready to fry it up, I'll be going to start by salting the meat because we're going to fry it a little bit, and that just gives it a whole lot of flavor. And this amount that I have here will easily serve 5 people. And of course you can cut it down or add more meat. This turns into a lot real quick because of the vegetables. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of oil. I'm going to switch the angle to the camera. I already have this pot. This is a 6-quart stock pot, and this is what you need, something this big. Or if you're going to make less meat, well, you can go smaller. But this is what I use. I already put a little bit of oil, olive oil. You use the oil of your choice. And I take the meat and I sear it. I'll sprinkle a little bit more salt on top. And I leave it alone. You just want it to sear on both sides. And this is what it looks like in the oil. In the meantime, while we're waiting on the meat to sear, we're going to prep the vegetables and put them aside for when we're ready. And like I said, the vegetables, you can use whatever vegetables you like. If you want to switch them up a little bit. And I put this in the order that I'm going to use them. Okay, I'm going to bring you in and show you what the meat looks like at this point. It's been on there for about 20 minutes, and I'm getting ready to flip it. See how nicely it's seared? I'm going to let this side sear for about 20 minutes, or 15 minutes really, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to proceed to the next step. You see how both sides are seared real nicely? At this point, what we're going to do is add the water. Be careful with the steam bath. This is about 5 cups of water, okay? And we're going to add a little bit more salt and pepper. We're going to turn down the heat to a medium to low. Put some pepper, and we're going to let this boil for about an hour and a half, okay? And I will show you a little bit later if we have to skim off some of the fat from the top. I will come in to do that. So I will show you at that point, okay? So I'll check back in a minute. Oh, and we have to put a lid on it. Don't forget the lid. It's been about an hour and 40 minutes since we put the meat. Of course, I do come back to check it, and I check the meat to see if I like the softness of the meat, and that, you know, is you'll know how to check if it's done. It's pretty hot, but I mean, I can tear it with my finger, so I know it's ready. And we don't want to let it go any further before adding the vegetables, because then you don't want the meat to overcook either. So I'm going to put all the vegetables in. And like I said, guys, y'all can change the vegetables too. If you don't like onion, well, don't add the onion. If you don't like celery, don't add the celery. You know, make it to your liking. You do your kitchen and your family. Squash and zucchini. And like I said, this turns to be a lot real quick. So you make it according to the size of your family. And if you want to have some for extra for leftovers, real easy to do. Let it cool. Put it in some Rubbermaid containers and put it in the freezer. Leave some room for the freezing, and you can have it on another day. It reheats real nicely. Put the corns. I love corn in my soup. And then the cabbage. I buy a real small cabbage because I know this turns into a whole bunch. You can just use half of what I'm using if, you know, you have a small family. And sometimes I add a little bit more water or stock. It depends on the vegetables, how many vegetables I've added. But the vegetables like the zucchini and the squash, they release water of their own. The tomato and the garlic. We don't put too much garlic, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of flavor. And then you're going to sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. You know how I like to layer my seasoning in accordingly. I've already tasted the broth and the meat, so I know that it needed just a little bit. And then the cilantro. I know there's people that love cilantro like myself, and there's people that just despise it. So if you don't like it, leave it out. No biggie. I get the cilantro, but this is going to go in closer to the end. And I just get it and I shred it into leaves like that. And the good thing about the cilantro is if you use the stems, it's no big deal. Okay, I hope you can see this. Excuse my mess. And the potatoes, I wait till about 10 minutes before everything is done, and I throw the potatoes in because I don't want them to fall apart. Because they will fall apart, and it just takes about 12 minutes for them to cook the way I like them. So I'm going to let this start to boil again. We're going to cover it, and we're going to let it go for about 20 more minutes. I'm going to bring you in close so you can see what's going on here. A whole lot of goodness. Look at that. As soon as it comes up to the boil, I'm going to cover it, and I'll see y'all in about 20 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes. And I check it on the soup, and it's time to to put in the potatoes. I'm going to bring you up close so you can see how much water this has now since the vegetables release their water. I haven't added anything, but I think I'm going to add about a cup. It's a beautiful soup for a day. I'm going to put in the cilantro. Just bushes of it, just a bushel of it. I'm going to slide in the potatoes. I added about a cup more of water, and I added an additional teaspoon of salt. You taste as you go. That's how I do it, especially for big dishes like this. You don't want to overdo it because you can't take it out, but you can add. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it here for 15 minutes after it gets to the boil, and we'll be back with the finished product. The caldo came out delicious. It was a total of about 2 hours and 20 minutes cooking time. And here it is, guys. It's just wonderful. Today the weather's cold, and this is gonna go real nice for dinner here in a little bit. So I serve it with a little bit of rice and a little wedge of lemon. Taste it. It's kind of hard for me to hold the bowl and taste it at the same time, so we're gonna try what we can here. The meat's soft. The broth is delicious. Well, here we go, guys. I'm down here on the table because I can't hold it. It's too hot. Delicious. This is going to warm my soul today for sure. Okay, guys. That concludes the video for today. I surely hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, give us a thumbs up. See you later, guys. Bye.